It's time for that gold boxing. We're going to talk about Bivol versus Beterbiev for the Undisputed. I feel like boxing is back alive. This fight right here is sparking something because then you're hearing rumors of Earl Spence versus, um, I think it's Fondura, and the winner of that gets Terrence Crawford. Then you're looking at David Morrell versus David Benavidez. This is great fights, great fights. Beterbiev versus Bivol is a fight that's gotta happen, and they're creating their own lane away from the money man and letting the money man control them. Um, I think Bivol wins, but this is like a how far do we know power puncher versus a good boxer that's grown into his weight with a good IQ, boxing IQ. Um, Beterbiev hasn't really convinced me yet. There's not been a fight I didn't know he was not going to win. I just didn't know if he was going to knock the dudes out and how fast he was going to knock the dudes out that he fought. Bivol has been different. He's been in some scuffles. I feel like Beterbiev was a little bit built up, whereas Bivol had to really fight his way up. So I do think Bivol's going to win, but kudos to both of them for taking this fight. It's been a little while, but kudos for them for taking this fight. You know, Beterbiev could have easily built a bigger resume before fighting for Undisputed. He's a little bit older. I know he's wanting to retire soon, but kudos to them. Kudos to David. Let's wait a minute. Let's skip to the undercard. You got Wardley versus Clark. Wardley's gonna win. I wish he would have fought our big baby. What's his name? I always do this. We got a big baby. But I think Wardley versus Big Baby would be a great fight. Or Wardley versus an American. You know, a young, hungry American, because he's a young, hungry UK dude. But he wins. Whitaker wins, but Whitaker's going to be entertaining. Who else we got? Not Connor, but the other junior is going to be fighting. Brain fart. I could see him. But he should win, but I think his promotion, Eubanks Jr., Eubanks' promotion, his networking is way better than his boxing to me. He's a UK level with great promotion, and he's not scared. But I don't think he is as good as he thinks he is. He should win this fight, but you never know about him. But he should win this fight. But anyways, we're going to talk about David, what's my dude name? Man, Morales versus Benavidez. Benavidez has always been my dude. I think Morales is that dude that everybody built up. You always have that dude. The dude was Esther Jr. facing Mikey Garcia. That dude was Frank Martin facing tank. There's always that dude people um, build up, and you're like, where did this dude come from? Well, I don't know he is as good as he is. I mean, sometimes I think old school alpha males are just considered great boxers. You know, Frank Martin ran up on Keyshawn. He really didn't take no mess. He carried himself differently, old school. David Morales, same way. And these kind of guys, they get credited to being that slick boxer, being that good boxer, being that knockout boxer, and you be like, huh? When? How? Where? Um, Lemieux got beat up. I mean, built like that too. I remember. Good gracious. But I think Morales has heart. He's young. He might even become a champion in his weight class, but just not right now. I think it's bitter. Oh man, David Benavidez is the dude, and him fighting the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev will be good. Plus, he's again, as I said, he's creating his own lane. He got to worry about being overshadowed by Canelo talk or Canelo coming in and swooping. Like they're making their own lane. And but I do think David. We'll talk about this way later. David's that dude. Um, I think Bivol might be the only dude that might give David some trouble. We have Earl Spence supposed to be fighting. Am I saying my dude name right? Fundura. Anyways, dude is no joke. Earl is one of my favorite fighters, and we get in our emotions a lot, but this is the GOAT channel. I still think Fundura is going to mollywop Earl. But kudos to Earl for not coming back and fighting a fight that we just don't need to see. He's been out. So for him to fight, he could come back and get a tune-up fight and nobody would be mad. You know, he need maybe 2 to 3 tune-ups to me, because the first tune-up is just to get your feet wet. The second one is to see where you kind of at, and then boom. But he's stepping right in there with a champion that I knew Thunder was going to beat Tim Tszyu. I knew it. Soon as they said he was replacing, who was Tim supposed to fight? I said, oh, shoot, it's over. But that don't count. Never would have, should have, never counted because I didn't make the video for it. When Fundura beat Lubison, who really takes his craft seriously, I knew he was on another level. So I think he's going to mollywop Earl. But kudos to both of them if they get this fight made. It's not going to be an easy fight for Terrence Crawford if that fight ever happens, you know. I just think Terrence IQ and heart will keep him alive in the Fundura fight. But kudos to all these dudes. You know, they're getting to where they're not afraid to lose. They're fighting people. And this is how it should have been for a while. I'm going to say another name that's out there that hasn't been calling nobody out, but I think Canelo actually ran from him years ago, but I think he's still the goods. He got the brakes beat off of him by Benavidez, but I knew that was going to happen. And that's Andre. If he didn't let that loss get to him, and he's perfecting his craft on the low, Andre he looked good to me versus Beterbiev. He had a great plan. It just, he was fighting a monster. But I'm hearing him and Charlo might be fighting, and I just don't know how to feel about Charlo. You know, Charlo still, he says he's single, but no matter what, He's dealing with the lady of his childhood. You know, they had a long relationship, and we see how it did him in the first go around. So he might not be with her, but for him to be saying I'm single, she's still on his mind. It's still hurting him. He's still going through it. So mental wise, I don't know how Jamal will last. I don't. I wouldn't even want to see him in the ring. Um, but that's what's going on with boxing. The Undisputed tomorrow will be Bivol. Beterbiev, let's get ready for Bivol. This is the Gold Channel, giving it to you like it is. Subscribe, like, comment, don't like, comment, give your word.